There is no magic bullet for business success. Welcome to another episode of Build with a Plan. I'm Coach David. I'm glad you could join us this week. This week I want to talk about the magic bullet. A lot of people out there think that, if I could just do this or if I could just do that, that would be the magic bullet for business success. But I'll tell you that if anyone tells you that there is a magic bullet, then what they're actually selling you is BS. And then what I mean by that is that, yes, there are different experts that can help specifically with maybe lead gen, with conversion, or some sort of marketing. But that isn't the best way to have a truly successful business. And the only way you can have, in my opinion at least, the only way you can really have a truly successful business is if you take a look at the entire playing field of your business. Understanding your business as a whole, right? As I said, not saying that you can't use experts to help with specific parts of your business. For example, lead generation, marketing, or sales techniques. But here's where the problem lies typically for a lot of the business owners that I talk with. Most business owners think more clients means more money equals get in front of more people, and that will solve all my problems. That will be the magic bullet to help me get more profitable. But here is the underlying problem with that. If you aren't looking at your business as a holistic entity, as in looking at the entire playing field, what is actually wrong with the business? Do you have a lead problem? Conversion? Is your pricing right? Do you have the right offering? Are you able to fulfill? What about your customer service? Do you have an inferior product or service? Do you have an HR problem? Are your costs too high? What's your profit margin look like? Do you have a follow-up issue? What about your public relations? It could be a staffing issue. It could be a sales process. Is it your target market? Do you know who you're actually going after? And then that turns into, are you messaging right? Do you have the right marketing? Do you have the right brand awareness? These are all the things you need to consider when you want to have a profitable business. So if you think that all I need to do is get in front of more people, I can be more profitable. So you spend money and you get a lead gen expert in, you've now got X amount of leads coming in every day now, but you don't have the conversion set up properly. Or maybe your pricing is too low. So that's where your potential profit issue is. You're offering your product or service too low, or the conversion isn't there. Or maybe you've got so many orders in that you have a fulfillment issue, whether it's service. This happens with a lot of service-based businesses. They get more and more clients, but they're struggling to be able to keep the high standards that they have had before to make sure that they could get the referral business. And if they're not able to refer, then customer satisfaction goes down. Then your referrals go down, your word of mouth referrals go down. And then you might have a public relations or a PR issue as far as people not saying the best things about you out there. Or you could be going after the wrong target market. Again, this looks at the pricing and who is buying from you. Now, typically people go after the lowest hanging fruit, price it the most aggressively, and they go, okay, let's just get as many clients as possible. But they realize that they only have they don't realize that all they have is a slim profit margin. And it doesn't matter how many more clients they get or customers they get, that they'll never be more profitable. Because if you're only set up in a growth business model, meaning that your cost of goods or services sold goes up with the amount of clients that you have, then that's not a scalable business model. So these are the things, these are the things you need to be looking at. So if most people, at least I'm hoping I'm talking to the people out there that want to have a successful, profitable business that can run without you, then you need to be looking at your entire playing field. And if you don't have someone in your life right now to help you, then my suggestion is go out there to find one. They're generally hard to find someone that looks at the entire playing field. A lot of coaches and consultants out there, they're good at one area. Now, when I work with a client, this is how I work with them. I look at their entire business from the lead, obviously starting with where they want to go with their business. What do they want from their business? Who is your ideal target market? Then we look at lead generation. Then we look at conversions with, do you have a proper upfront offer? Is your pricing set up right? Are you able to fulfill on what you are offering out there? Make sure that your product or service is not inferior. You want to make sure that you have the best product or service out there that has the most value for the price out there. And that helps you right there to get ahead of the competition. Remember, most business owners out there are operating on a sort of a day-to-day method. I need more leads, or I want more money, I need more leads. Got leads, now I need conversions. But is that really the problem? Maybe they don't have a lead issue. Maybe they don't have a conversion issue. Like I said, maybe it's the pricing. If they are too low, then the profit margin is not there. So you're not going to be able to hire the extra staff to be able to bring in to make sure the fulfillment is done properly. You might have a horrible customer experience because you haven't looked at the entire playing field and said, okay, what is this customer going through? How do they interact with you from the very beginning? This could be even before lead generation. What does your brand awareness look like out there with social media? Or do you have video out there? What does that look like? Are you talking to the right people? Do you have the right message to make sure you are talking to the right people? So the lesson I'm trying to hammer home today is that there is no one specific magic bullet for business success. Now, I'm hoping out there that the people that are listening, the people that are attracted to what I have to say, they want a profitable business that can run without them. Get the financial freedom and the time freedom. And the only way to do that is to make sure you're looking at the entire playing field. And you need someone in your life to help you, hold you accountable. It's very difficult to be a business owner and do this entirely on your own. I'm not saying you can't do that, but you need an accountability partner. Perhaps it's a coach, perhaps it's a mentor, someone to that capacity that could help you step back and look at that entire playing field. As I said before, do you have a lead issue, conversion issue, pricing? What's your offer? What's your fulfillment like? Is it the customer service issue, inferior product or service? Do you have an HR issue? Now, this is something that goes by the way, or this goes unnoticed a lot of the times. That's your accounts receivable. So AR is accounts receivable. That's money that is product or service that you've sold to somebody and you've yet to collect the revenue on that. Now, if your AR or accounts receivable is too high, then that eats into your profits because you're basically carrying credit for people that have already bought your product or service. You've already paid for whatever the cost was to produce that product or service. So you're going to be dinged with interest and all that type of stuff. And that eats into your profit margin. You really need to make sure you understand your profit margin and what affects it, and how you can learn how you can increase that profit margin. That's the only way that you can truly have, a financially free business, one that can run without you. All right. So if you haven't yet, take a deeper look at your business, find a mentor, find a coach, find someone that can help you be accountable for looking at your business of the entire playing field. It's Coach David here, Build with a Plan podcast. I produce this podcast to hopefully connect with some business owners out there so they can avoid a lot of the price that I paid as a business owner from the past. And this is a huge lesson right here. Know your business as a whole. So if you like what you hear, please like and share, refer to other business owners. Don't do any marketing on this. So you sending it out, you referring this, or rating this podcast is what helps me grow it. All right, until next time, Coach David out.